We actually had 4 wanted to come out today. So let's see what's happening here. Oh dear. Why is he in reverse? Oh. Good Lord. All we have are pentacles on the board. Page of Pentacles. We have this King of Pentacles in reverse, and they wanted this person, him, her, them, to be in reverse. We have the 10 of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles. Reverse, the little messages on here: greed, indulgence, material loss, stubborn, obsessed with wealth and status, financially inept. Well, it's not financially inept. I could see greed. I don't know, what this seems like to me is there are kind of two entities or two people maybe at play here, and it is these two, the Page of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. This page is kind of like offering something to this king. And the King of Pentacles in reverse has this 10 of Pentacles, right? It's sort of like whoever is offering something to this king, what this is meaning is like you are going to kind of get something out of them, or they will give you something for whatever this is, to go from like the page to the Knight of Pentacles. But it's sort of like, I don't know that it's going to be the fair value for what it is that you're offering. Or what this is saying is like, whoever you're offering this to, potentially, like you need to move on. Like understand what it is. So understand what it is. So if you're dealing with like a larger corporation or entity or whatever, or person, directly a person, you need to understand that whoever this is you're never going to get to the 10 of Pentacles with them. But probably for whatever it is that you want to do, you need to deal with them for something. But it's sort of like, don't get tricked into believing that you will ever become the King of Pentacles with whoever this is. They're the King of Pentacles in reverse. Like they're going to hold on to as much as they are, like as much as they can, and they're going to try to retain like all the talent or labor or whatever, and like try and hold on to that as long as they can as well, without giving them anything or giving you anything. And so it's sort of like, go ahead and get to the Knight of Pentacles with this person and then leave. Like, don't stay. That's what this seems like at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and go around again and see if we can't get more details on this. Because it might also mean like, don't bother with this person, just kind of like move on. But it sort of seems like the page has to go through. The page has to go through this thing with the King and the 10 of Pentacles in order to get to the Knight status. It's like you've got to learn a particular lesson here. Or what we're talking about is just one person who's learning this. It's like this person started as a page, they somehow jumped to the king, and they did something wacky with this 10 of Pentacles and then got like demoted to the Knight. They had to learn, like that's why you don't want to like make a hard jump like that usually, is because you don't know what to do with what you have. And you have not learned the particular lessons that you would need to learn in order to be stable with like whatever that new influx of thing is, because it doesn't necessarily have to be money. It's sort of like any sort of status or whatever. 8 of Cups. So this might just be like, if you're somebody who's dealing with somebody like this, you just might need to go, like kind of recognize it and go. Or what this person is dealing with, our King in reverse, is dealing with like the people who are like producing this 10 of Pentacles for them. They're like, you know what, we're gonna go. It's not worth it. And so this king might be being demoted to like a knight. It's like, if you don't, like this is the lesson of like reciprocity and like an economic and a labor ecosystem. If you flat out don't have a healthy ecosystem, it's all going to collapse. Yet the 7 of Swords on this King of Pentacles, this is not a great individual here. This is like kind of a calculated, greedy person. They're also probably potentially keeping secrets. Like this is the type of person who would be like extremely wealthy, but trying to tell you that they're like broke. And trying to like guilt you, like, oh, like I really can't like pay that much because like I just don't, like I know it looks like I have all this great stuff, 3 of Cups on this 10 of Pentacles. I know it looks like I have all of this, but really, like, you don't understand, like, liquidity and, like, oh, I really don't have that. And it's just sort of like, it's all bullshit and lies to get you to, like, do whatever it is that they want for, like, either nothing altogether or basically nothing. So it's just kind of like, recognize who those people are. 6 of Cups on this Knight of Coins. That's interesting. So if we're talking about 2 people, our little page and our knight are one person, and they're kind of dealing with this weirdo right here. It's sort of like that person, whoever they are, they're going to get to their little knight. So they're going from the page to the knight, and they will get into more wholesome relationships with other people. Like, this is like the healthy ecosystem, right? Like, better partnerships. If this is one person who's having to learn a lesson about money, this is kind of like, you know, someone rising to fame and power and then doing all these piece of shit behaviors and then having some sort of downfall. Except the thing is, like, I'm not seeing a downfall, like a tower moment in between this 10 of Coins, 3 of Cups to our Knight of Pentacles, 6 of Cups, which is making me think less that it's one person doing this. It might be, or it might not be a downfall. It could just be that this person is realizing, actually, like, yeah, there's all this stuff where I am here, but actually I'm a lot happier. Like, I'm unhappy being the king. I'm unhappy at this king status, even with all of these benefits. I would rather be at the knight and have more wholesome relationships. So if it's one person, it could be a lesson like that. So if we're going more that way, where this is a person learning a lesson about wealth and power, like one individual, and it's this King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is in the reverse and in the 7 of Swords, not because they're being like sneaky with money or anything like that, or like overly calculated. It's because it's sort of like, I want to demote myself. Misha, I want to secretly, like, I want to get away from this. I want to sneak away from the money and bitches. Okay, like, I want to sneak away from that. Let's say groupies, okay? Money and sycophants, okay? Money and sycophants, because I would encompass bitches as to yes men as well. Yes men and those are all bitches. Those are all bitches. And Misha is being a whiny little baby right now. Shut up, Mish. So it could be something like that if it's not so nefarious as what I'm talking about. We'll go around one more time to see if I can't get full answers there. The High Priestess. So on this page, this is someone, like, somebody is understanding something. Somebody is having some sort of understanding, whether it's a person dealing with someone like I'm talking about, like a more nefarious person, or it's one person having like a values transition. Knight of Cups, if it's one person, yeah, it's what I'm talking about. This is kind of like, this would be sort of, depending on how old this person is, this is kind of like a midlife crisis. It's like, I've achieved everything that I set out to achieve, like financially and everything else, and I don't like it. So now what do I do? And it's sort of like, well, you need to figure out what it is that you don't like about the lifestyle. And then, yeah, you can downgrade, you can just change your lifestyle. Like, I don't know, like, that this person necessarily has to, like, give up. If they are behaving in a more nefarious way, like, yeah, they need to stop. Like, that's typically the thing that you need to stop. The reason why you're doing something like lying or like actually like hoarding money and like trying to cheat people, that is like, and I know this probably isn't the best way to put this, but I'll just say it like this, that's a personal deficiency. The gentler way to, like, that we go ahead and say that is like, oh, this person has trauma. And it's like, okay, yeah, but like, it's causing them to act like a piece of shit. Like, you have to understand that that's a moral deficiency. That's something, if you are like, and I'm just gonna say, this is a tarot channel. That's something wrong with your soul. That is something wrong with the configuration of your inner being. Okay, that's why whenever you get something like that happening chronically, I'm talking about someone like lying once or anything like that, Something where we're talking about this, yes, that's a problem with your soul. And you need to figure that out to understand why you're doing this, or else you're going to keep doing it. And that tends to be the biggest barrier to significant change, is that people are just sort of picking what ultimate misery that they want to deal with, like short term. So you can deal with like the apathy and discomfort of unbridled hedonism, chronic comfort, or you can deal with the very, very real pain of understanding why your soul is configured that way. And that's going to be a long-term type of pain that you just kind of have to get through it in order to get through like the joy and the great stuff like on the other side. But it looks a lot different than kind of what reality or the world tends to celebrate. It looks a lot different. Okay, this one. The Queen of Wands. So I don't know, these could be dick witches, okay? Like money and dick witches, money and hoes. I mean, if we're talking about someone who wants to have like an actual relationship with someone, maybe this person only trucks in transactional relationships. Though I don't know, I kind of don't know where this page is coming from. I mean, this could be someone going, it didn't used to be like this. This could be somebody who's like reflecting on, remember when it used to be this way, like when I was just starting out and I just kind of wanted to have a business because I thought this was a good idea, and now it's this. And it's sort of like, okay, it could be that. It could be that. Three of Wands. So this is, whatever that Six of Cups is, this is someone who is going on a journey, whether it's the single person that I just told you about, or it is like these two. We have someone who is dealing with kind of like, they can see this person as maybe the older version of themselves, or they can plainly see that like this person is going to cheat me. Like this is just the way they are. Like the Seven of Swords with the Knight of Cups could very well be lying, making it sweet. This person is going to screw me while like blowing smoke up my ass, you know, that kind of a thing. But it's almost kind of giving not that. But that's what I'm going to ask about. So what I want to know first is, are we talking about one person or are we talking about two people? Knight of Swords, probably this is one person. An ambitious, action-oriented, driven to succeed, fast-thinking, defending. Okay, we're talking about one person. So it's just King of Pentacles right here. And so what I have questions about, I actually don't have any questions about anything going on in this middle. We know it's our King of Pentacles. He's upside down. We're gonna leave him, her, them upside down. And we'll put them right up here. And then I want to look at this Page of Coins, Eight of Cups, the High Priestess. I kind of want to know a little bit more about this. Now the Queen of Cups and the Empress is here. That combined together could be this High Priestess. That kind of does give that. We got the Eight of Coins, Queen of Cups, Empress, Three of Coins. So we have someone working for this High Priestess. It's like somebody working and like looking. So like I said, someone might just, the Lovers. All right, so I don't know, whoever I'm talking about, you know, might have an idea, right? Because this is, if we're going with our story, right, this person's been dealing with transactional people, sycophants, with the Queen of Wands, Three of Cups. That's some form of dick witch. No matter, like, dick witches are all genders, all sexual expressions. Anybody can be a dick witch, but the hoes, right? No matter the gender of the hoes, y'all still hoes. So this person has been dealing with hoes, but what they're kind of looking at now, or I don't know if they're reflecting on it. Why is this person? Oh! There is somebody or something. There is somebody or something, okay? There is some sort of event. There is some sort of person that this King of Coins ran into, okay? And I'll look and see what it is. There is some sort of individual, or there's a situation that they encountered where they saw something, they ran into somebody who like made them remember kind of like how it used to be. And it's like, remember when it was like this, and like it was actually like a lot nice. Like I would really prefer to have like a relationship with someone, like, you know, so not a dick witch. I want a relationship with someone who's more like the Queen of Cups and the Empress, the High Priestess. That's a very empathetic, compassionate, caring, wise individual who, yes, is not going to be dazzled by like 10 of Coins, 3 of Cups. Like that's not you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. And with this like 3 of Coins, the Lovers, it's sort of like, I want a solid, it's like I want to work, but what this person is kind of thinking of is like, I am working towards this. I am working towards this sort of a lifestyle as opposed to this sort of a lifestyle that I no longer want to lead. It's not working for me. I don't like it. I don't like the person I've become maybe. And I would like to match with an individual that's more like this. And so I don't know. And so that's what that page is. It's like, I want to, whenever I encounter this type of a person, it's like page 8 of Cups, High Priestess. Whenever I encounter this sort of person right here, this type, I feel like I used to feel. I don't feel like the King of Coins, like in reverse. And I would be willing, it seems like with this Knight of Coins, that's either long-term like work, or it's like I would actually be willing to make a little bit less. I would be willing to make a financial sacrifice to be in a relationship with someone like this, to have more of a lifestyle like this. I'm not talking about it's just like this person's given up like all their money or whatever, but I don't know, like it could be like, because you could be talking about someone who's making like millions and millions of dollars, and maybe they're only making like, okay, so you got somebody who's making $25 million, like they actually have, and because I don't know how to say this, it's like kind of like net and gross and girl, I don't know, come on, look at me. Look at who you're trying to get to understand finances, okay? So let's say you have someone who actually has like in their pocket $25 million a year, okay? They have that, so that's like, I don't know what that, you know, chalks up to in like the business world, but this person has like $25 million annually liquid assets on top of whatever other crap they have. However you want to work that out in real life, like work it out, okay? So this person will go like, well, I could just settle for making 10 million or 5 million. And they still have like $10 million annually, like just to fuck around. 10 million or 5 million annual, like, come on, it's something like that. I'm telling you, it's something like that. But to this person, they're like, oh my fucking God. Okay, so like, you know, put it at your level, because I know the King of Pentacles doesn't necessarily have to be like a millionaire. They could be like, you know, management or an executive or something like that, okay? I'm just saying, like, they would be willing to alter their lifestyle fairly significantly for the type of person or the type of relationships that they would like to be in. And so what I want to ask now is, I want to know what the inciting incident was. What was it that has changed, that what made the Grinch's heart like grow? Like, you know, sometimes it's really not, like sometimes people just get sick and tired of being sick and tired. They just like hit a wall and they're just like, I hate this. I hate the hoes. I hate the money. I hate the parties. It is all boring. I actually need something else. And you can go one of two ways with that. You can actually figure out what's going on, or what other people, you know, and I would probably say the majority, what the majority would tend to do is they start getting into, unfortunately, more extreme behavior, which is why you start seeing people getting really, really sexually deviant and stuff like that, because instead of understanding that they need some sort of like reconfiguration of their self, you want to call that healing or whatever, instead of understanding that, or like just not wanting to do it, or thinking that that's like stupid, or like not believing in it, however you want to believe in it or think about it, because you don't have to think about that on like a faith or spiritual level at all. Instead of doing that, there's like, well, I guess I just need to hunt people for sport, and, you know, go to Jeff Epps Island. That's what I need to do. Like, and, you know, they go do it. Yeah. So the inciting incident was, well, I don't know, 2 of Coins, 2 of Swords, pages, it might not have been one thing. It might just have been like a long term, like that had, like I'm telling you, it's not any sort of like one thing. It could be a couple of things with this Two of Coins, to like a number of things that led to some sort of decision. I'll pull one on this Two of Coins just to see, but it's probably an overtime thing. Not everything has to be like so. Oh no, bitch. Oh, hold on. 9 of Coins. Who is this? Who? Okay. I was about to say a person popped out. So there's a person here. There's at least one other person here because it's not the king. All right, this 9 of Coins, what's happening here? 8 of Swords. 5 of Cups. Oh no. 4 of Swords. I don't know that they lost somebody or they don't have access to somebody. Again, that could just be a type. I have no access to the host that I want. And it makes me sad. That's really harsh energy. 8 of Swords, 5 of Cups, 4 of Swords. That's like, I'm never gonna have nothing. Yeah, King of Cups, like I am barred. Okay, so it's not the 9 of Coins person who's in this particular way. This is sort of like this person's, like I'm in a glass cage of emotions type of shit. This person just feels restricted. Like, I don't know, maybe that's an actual person, but it just seems like whoever the king is, 5 of Cups, Judgment, this person feels convicted. I don't know what happened, but like this person feels like restricted from the type of people that they would want to get involved with in whatever way that they want to get involved with them. Yeah, 7 of Wands on that 4 of Swords. This is your judgment. This is your karma. You do not have access to this. Like, you got to go figure that out. And so, like, it might have been one person in particular that, like, maybe they ran into somebody and, they tried their, like, they're used to dealing with dick witches. Maybe they tried some of that, and the 9 of Coins, that's somebody with like, no matter what type of money you can have class without having money. That's like handling yourself with decorum. The 9 of Coins person is not going to debase themselves in that way for money, because they are already, no matter what money they have, they're comfortable where they are. They're, fairly happy. And they're not running around like, trying to chase scraps. So they're not going to jump for this person's status or whatever it is that they have. Oh, Lord. Okay. So it could have it could have been a particular person that, they tried something with, it didn't work. Like, I'm blocked from that person, or they could just see. They can just see. It could be multiple people, like multiple instances where they're like, oh, that's the type of person that I would really want to like settle down with, or like actually like share my life and my personhood with, because you don't do that with a dick witch. But it's sort of like these people like en masse are just like, no, that's not it. Girl, non-gender girl. So now we have this sort of, I want to go in this direction. So we'll just, I'll pull 3 on it, but I feel like we have our story, right? We have our story. It's like a personal, somebody's on a little transformation journey to figure out how they can get what they want, which is, different from what they have. And likely what they have built was always kind of interesting. Like, you spend your whole life building towards this particular thing, and then you get it, and then you go, oh shit, I want something totally different now that I'm here. Shit. I work so hard. Oh well, that's life. Queen of Pentacles. So, all of the queens that we've had coming out, besides that Queen of Wands that was on the 3 of Cups, and what I'm talking about is more of a particular lifestyle, a particular hedonistic lifestyle. All of our queens have been, with our feminine archetypes, Queen of Coins, Queen of Cups, 9 of Coins, the Empress, and the High Priestess. That's all like, long-term life partner, spousey, wifey, I'd say husbandy, but it's not a hoe, like not a money-grubbing hoe. This is somebody who's 6 of Wands. This is somebody who's well respected. by the community. Like the community would be aware of who that person is. They're just like, this is, you know, somebody we all know to be this way. Justice, like, so, I mean, yeah, that's like a very, very, we'll call that a high value person. This is a high value person. Queen of Pentacles, they might be, that's like financial stability, some form of notoriety within the, when I'm saying notoriety within the community, I just mean like within your social group. If you are the Queen of Pentacles and you're not this like kind of King of Pentacles person who's going through whatever they're going through, you would be known within your community to be a particular way. Like, this isn't bullshit. Like, word on the street is that, yeah, that person, you know, doesn't get involved in all this stuff. They're, you know, over there doing their job, you know, taking care of people, taking care of themselves. And also justice, they are very fair-minded, that like that person would be about equilibrium. They're not about like hoarding wealth and resources. They're about equal distribution, or like some sort of economic prosperity for all, or like helping people. Like justice, like that's economic and potentially social justice and legal justice minded person. So what this also would be is like, I'm the king is wanting to move towards, successfully move towards, and like get their life in balance so they can like have this sort of, because like I'm saying, even if this king at the moment can pop up, because they're both the same, like they're both in Pentacles, right? This king could potentially like pop up in this queen's reality. He can't stay. These two people cannot remain in the same reality. It's vibrationally incompatible. One of these people would significantly have to change, and the justice, all these heavy cards are weighted on the more femme energy's side, the more passive energy, and not our king. Our king is weighted down by the money and the hose. And the money is something that will give him like gravity, or give them gravity, but like Three of Cups and Queen of Wands, that's very frivolous. That is the thing that is more malleable. That is the thing that is more ephemeral, and not this person over here, like someone who has justice as their inner character and it's well known. That's not going to shift easily. So if anybody, you know, is going to shift, it's going to be this person if they really want what they want. Because there's nothing wrong with this queen person's soul, all right? There's nothing wrong. I'm not saying they're perfect, but they don't have any kind of like wild ass kind of, you know, negative coping behaviors going on there. So let's go ahead and get the final advice outcome. Final advice outcome. Well, to be real with you, if this Hierophant is not a representation of the King of Pentacles, it's kind of like this up to the forces. God and God's help, because this is in the cloud, right? Like when we have this cloud, sometimes this is like many helpers, somebody who is outside of the matrix looking at the matrix. This is sort of like Providence is involved with this. It's sort of like there's no actions really for anybody to take. It's just sort of like, what will be, will be. Like, I don't know, like the moon, yeah, the Hierophant, that's, you can't know that. Whatever this final advice outcome thing is, it's like you are not meant to know. These are the workings of the Tao. These are the workings of God, the workings of the Most High, the workings of unseen things. And it's just sort of like, we're telling you in general what's going on in the energy. But it's like, there's a lot of unseen stuff going on here, because Seven of Cups and the Moon as well. It's like there's unseen like conflict, unseen stuff. Five of Swords on this Magician that is being like worked out, that I don't know that any of the people that like, because the people who I'm describing like in the body of the read, the main body of the read, like those are real people. What I'm talking about now is not real people, or I'm saying it's a real thing, but it's not tangible. Like these are forces, beings, whatever. Like they're doing something. And it's just sort of like, we are but pawns and players. And this is all meant for something or another. The Fool. Like, so it's sort of like trust. trust that whatever is going on here, if this is your read, it is going on for positive reasons. You're not seeing what's actually happening. It's sort of like you're just seeing kind of one particular like result maybe, or you're not seeing like what the end game is going to be. And so it's just sort of like a trust that things are moving on under control. Yeah, the Chariot. So like there is stuff going on right now that kind of doesn't involve whether you're the king, whether you're the femme energy, whatever. No matter who you are in the read, all I can tell you is what is happening for a reason that is positive. Don't try to understand. Even though I'm giving you this read, like don't try to come to a particular solution. It's just sort of like, yeah, like don't like, Hanged Man is sort of like what is meant to be going on right now is just sort of like, let things happen and try not to jump to any conclusions about anything. So let's say you're the more, let's say you're the king in this, and you're maybe feeling like you're in a crisis moment in your life, and it's just like, oh, everything's falling apart because like your tastes are changing, like your personal desires are changing, your soul's evolving, whatever. And you're feeling like this is kind of a disaster because I don't know what point you're at yet. You might not have, like, you may feel like, but this is like just who I am. And like, I'm never, like, you could feel like I'm never going to have like this type of like nice, more like wholesome person because I'm just like a piece of shit. That's not true. You might be partaking in piece of shit behaviors right now because of whatever's going on inside of you, but that's not permanent. That's not permanent unless you choose to make it permanent, because even people who have like let's say like really, really extreme like neurodivergencies or personality disorders or whatever that are going to make them like way more prone to like behaving in what we in society would construe as like, that's like a negative fucking thing, all right? People can be that way because the mental configuration is not the soul. Like, that is different. And yes, the two like interplay off of each other, but people who like the, you know, we'll keep it colloquial, sociopaths or psychopaths, there's like a lot of negative messaging around people who have antisocial personality disorder. However, there are people who are aware that they have that and they go into like life-saving fields, like the high risk, high stress type of environments like firefighting or, you know, emergency responders or surgeons, that type of stuff. They perform very well there because they don't get stressed out. Like, they're not shaking, they're excited. Like, they're thrilled, okay? They're thrilled because it's just like stimulation to them. And while that might be kind of hard to contend with if you're not mentally configured that way, they are still doing a positive thing for society at large by being able to function as they do in high stress environments and not be affected by it. Okay, so that is something beneficial. And I would say that even though they're not feeling or thinking the way that maybe like the general population does, there would be nothing wrong with those people's souls. Like if they're leaning into, obviously, like, I don't know, being a serial killer, like, yeah, there's something up, girl, there's something up. But that doesn't just automatically happen if you have like antisocial personality. It's actually a lot rarer. I think than people really think. So I'm just saying, I want to completely like separate that out. The mental realm, while it interplays with the spiritual realm, it's not the same thing. And so you are not permanently, like, even if you have one of those things, like you have some kind of diagnosis, I don't know. That still doesn't mean that you can't choose to behave in the way that you know. It's just like, this is how a person who would feel this way would and think this way would behave. And in order for me to have what I want, I may not actually feel this way, but I know that I need to behave this way. And it's not necessarily a lie because you know who you are and you are performing the way that you are in order to integrate holistically into society. That is not the same thing as being a fake person. And what I would tell you is that, like, if that is your ish and you're like worried about, like, I could see somebody being worried about that. Like, well, what if I tell this person that, like, because if it's somebody that you want to spend your life with, some person who you want to come across, or somebody who you already know, they're like, how are they going to, like, respond to me being, having an antisocial personality disorder? A high priestess, queen of coins, queen of cups, empress, justice type of person, probably, like, depending on what you're doing about all that, and depending on, they're going to look at how you're living your life. They're going to look realistically at the issue. They're not just going to jump to a conclusion and be like, oh, well, you're just an evil, like, if you have antisocial personalities, you're just an evil person. And so I'm never gonna deal with you. Like, that's not gonna be how that goes. It might be a challenging conversation, but I mean, like, if you really wanna be in the type of relationship that I'm looking at, like Six of Cups, like, yeah, just have the conversation. Probably it's gonna go better than you think. But the point of everything that I just said was, or is, don't assume that just because, like, let's say you just got the diagnosis, or let's say, like, your life is just falling apart, or you just kind of had another experience where the type of person that you would like to be with has shunned you again based on the way you behave. It's because you haven't been practicing long enough. It's because you are maybe still, like, if you're choosing therapy or whatever, you're still kind of maybe at the beginning or middle phase, and it takes a while, depending on what you're dealing with, how long you've been behaving in a particular way, to reconfigure your energy, to reconfigure who you are. It does take time, it takes practice, unless literally an act, because that does happen. Sometimes we do get extreme acts of God where God just comes down and goes boom, and, like, just reconfigures the fucking person. All right, that's not typically how it goes. But, and also when that tends to happen as well, so if you just got the whammy put on you by God and you just got entirely reconfigured, you don't know what the fuck's going on right now, that is going to create chaos in the life that you have manifested the way you were before, and it's going to cause really extreme chaos because you just went through a radical change. And so your surroundings are going to go through a radical change too. If you are at that point where things are falling apart and you're thinking that nothing good is going to come of this, or your life's destroyed, or whatever else, don't come to that conclusion. Don't, like, think that just because this is happening right now, I'm never going to have this person, or my life is never going to get any better, or blah, 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 blah. That's not true. That's not true. Like, let's not take any radical actions. Okay, let's not take any radical actions when you can just see, like, you can take that action any old day. Okay, girl, girl, you can take that action any old day. Just see how things play out. All right. And I know, because a lot of what I'm talking about is extremely uncomfortable and scary. And so it is kind of a little bit easier to just kind of want the uncertainty to end, so you come to your own conclusion, decide to act on that. The advice is to not do that. The advice is to let it play out. And so likewise, if you are more on that femme energy side where you're just kind of sitting there, I don't know, it didn't look like the femme energy was going through too much. Is there anything that, let me look at that really quick. Is there anything that this femme energy is going through right now? Let me see. That they would need, like, this sort of advice on? Something about, no, it's like, it's the exact same shit. Girl, not dinner, girl. Wait, hold on, what's this Page of Wands? This is saying, if you want to, there might be some new direction that you want to go in. Page of Wands is kind of like, well, I kind of want to go over here and do this. Nah, it's almost sort of like, is this saying that they should maybe, like, wait or be a little patient, or maybe just take some baby steps? Yeah, okay, because I got the Tower and the Star and this girl under a girl. If you are the more femme energy, that queen, and you're kind of like thinking, I kind of want to go, like Page of Wands, I kind of want to go in a new direction, I kind of want to do a new thing. There's something, I'm not saying don't, like, I'm not saying put your life on, nobody put their life on hold, okay? If you want to start, like, experimenting with something new, go ahead, but it's sort of like, this is sort of like, ooh, be strong, like, hold up, because you see this person's, like, holding back that lion, all right? And that's, like, this little, like, exuberant Page person is like, oh, I want to go, and it's sort of like this this angel, this, you know, this person is going, oh, wait, hold on. Because there is somebody here that we are guiding, because the Queen of Swords is in the clouds, right? That's a non-tangible queen at the moment. There's something that we're looking to bring over here. And when we bring this thing over here, Tower the Star, it's a positive thing. But if you start getting too far afield, like potential, because the star in the Tower is like way wilder than like that's higher energy than the Page of Wands. You can't mess up the Tower, Star, Temperance, Strength. You can't mess that up. But it's just saying, like, you might want to sit tight. You might want to sit tight, and even if you want to kind of go in a new direction, because Page is like not anything kind of serious. It's just like, well, maybe I should go over here. You know, I don't see anything wrong with experimenting about it, but there's something going on here that nobody's in control of, it looks like. And so you might still want to sit tight where you are and just kind of watch things play out for a little bit. And that's kind of been a trend in the read, so we're going to call it there. There's been a lot of watch this happen coming across, no matter if it's something happening, you know, at the national or international level, or it's happening in this personal life, sort of right here. The advice has kind of been, there are things going on that, like, we're not in charge of, we can't see, and so you, no matter who you are, don't jump to a conclusion about where you are just yet. Watch and wait and see.